I tried to look cute for every one of you for this video, so if one of y'all does not say I look cute, blocking. Hi, hello Drag Race fans, welcome back to yet another Drag Race All-Stars 9 conversation. We are in episode 2, the paintball. Now I just want to say preemptively, I am so glad that this was the ball category that we got. I was just working on an outline of challenges that I would really love to see on Drag Race, and paintball was one of them because there's so much you could do with that. I personally would have cut one of the categories and changed it to something else, and that would have been monochromatica. I either would have assigned everybody a color, or I would have had them do a specific style. So like, this queen is assigned pop art, this one is assigned modern art, etc. But that's beyond the point. And now watching it, I was very bored by the monochromatica category, but we'll get there in a second. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Starting out, I'm really feeling like Shannel is super underrated, one in the workroom, but also for the cameras. And I don't know if that's because she is not on their sightlines at all, but she is getting such a bad edit. Like, Shannel might as well not be there. And that showed throughout the entire episode. And for someone who was there when the show started, was there for the very first All-Stars. Y'all, I think we have a Black Widow spider in our apartment. What was I saying? Oh, I feel like Shannel's being really disrespected by the edit and production, and I'm not really loving that. It kind of feels bad to watch. The girls are talking about who else they would have blocked, who they see as competition. I still stand by what I said, that I think it feels really awful that they're blocking their friends from getting money for charity. If this was purely like a normal All-Star situation, I wouldn't have as many problems with it, but because they are making money for people who really need it, it feels kind of bad. I think there's a lot of really solid people in this room who are threats, and then I think there are some where I just wouldn't think twice about their presence in the workroom. And unfortunately, I think that Shannel is getting that, and I think that feels really bad for me as a viewer. Into the actual challenge, Roxy's helping pretty much everybody in the room, which I actually really love to see. I kind of assumed that she was gonna be the more maternal one, and I thought maybe Shannel would be the same, but it seems like that burden has fallen on Roxy. Rue does walkthroughs with the girls and asks them about their charities, and we pretty much got to hear everybody that talked to Rue got to share their charity and what it was about, except for Shannel. And I am noticing again and again and again this sort of disrespect towards this OG. They talked about how she does Christmas every year and how it's a big deal, which I love. I'm a huge fan of Christmas, but they didn't talk about her charity. And that seems kind of important when the other girls get to talk about that. So if she doesn't get to talk about her charity next week, a lot of people are really happy with this season because they feel like they can just sort of vibe and have a good time and enjoy the episodes. I'm finding myself unenthused. And that's not to say that these girls are doing bad. I just am not, I'm not feeling that thing that I really want to feel. I don't want to complain too much. I'm gonna try not to complain every episode. It's fresh, it's brand new, and I'm not live, laugh, loving. So let's get into the first category, which is monochromatica. You get to choose any color you want, and we had a lot of the same. Of the Roy G. BIV collection, I was actually really disappointed at how little representation there was. Starting out with Miss Angeria, who was coming out in a neon highlighter color. It was described as neon green galaxy. I love Angeria and she can't do anything wrong. I'm gonna assume that she borrowed this from someone with bad taste because this doesn't look like something that she would wear. The wig was weird. I did not like the Ursula nature of it with this particular bodysuit. I didn't like the ruffle. I don't like how athletic it all looks. It kind of looks like, you know when white women go to hot yoga and they think that's a replacement for exercise? That's what this bodysuit was, and she could do better than this. Shannel was in kitty pink. This hair is really tiny for Shannel. I didn't love that first and foremost. That was really kind of distracting for me. The actual dress itself is very classic Shannel. I was kind of hoping for something different, but I mean, I don't know, it was pretty. Roxy comes out in ravenous red. You know, Maybe I'm being super hypercritical because I'm just not loving this season, but I don't love this outfit either. I don't really love this flu shot line attire. Like, I'm gonna wear a whole lot of nothing so that I get sick as quick as possible so that I could go to the flu shot, you know what I mean? I don't respond super well to how distressed the garment is, but maybe I don't understand fashion, which I don't think is the case, but maybe. I'm gonna give myself the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I don't understand fashion. Next up we have Gottmik in Donatella Purple. I really love this pleather jacket. I think it's gorgeous. I'm not super in love with the top and the hood. And this is couture. This is Versace. This is everything. I think myself and a lot of people have asked, is wearing runway, like real world runway fashion drag? That's the question mark that I have. Without gatekeeping, drag is all encompassing, right? Even runways and high couture can be drag in its own way. Is couture drag. Next is Nina West Foot Queen with 2 in the pink, so our second pink look. I'm not gonna lie, I really love this mushroom cap hat with the weird reveal on it. I love all of the intricate shapes that are here. This is a really cool club kid look. This feels like high drag to me. And this was one of my favorites in this category. Next is Vanjie in Michelle Green, our second green look of the evening. Different shade of green, but same family. I love this. This was my favorite in this category because it's outside of the box, and it's not too outside of the box that you're like, what are you doing? The hair is perfect. The dress is an immaculate recreation in that color and referencing something that Michelle has said for decade now, that she hates the color green. I love it. It's so fun, so smart, so camp. This is my favorite look, and I don't think that Vanjie will top this look throughout the rest of the season. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think she will. Next is Plastique in Gammon Crimson, another shade of red, our second one in fact. I like this. It's a nice look. Roxy did this sort of distressed look as well, and I didn't like the way that that was constructed, but I like this one because the lines are clean and it looks more intentional rather than mistakes or accidents. And I think even though I don't like outfits that are flu shot line, I like this one. And then finally is Georgios in Kush Green, our third green of the evening. And this is probably my least favorite look of this category. God, there's so much to say about this and also nothing. I don't really like the headpiece that's part of the hair. I think the weed leaves on the breasts look a little craft store. Do you ever remember making turkey hands? I think that the corset is nice. I like how it's been stoned. It looks really pretty. The tights with this long line that's right at the crotchal area. Not my favorite thing in the universe. This was a boot for me, unfortunately. I really wanted some blues and oranges. I wanted some vibrant yellows. I would have even taken a gold or a black and a white. I would have taken a silver. I was kind of let down. Next is Drag Imitates Art, and this was one of my favorite categories of the evening. Angeria is out first in color block. She looks gorgeous. I love the shade of red hair on her. She looks immaculate. Love the shoes, love the dress, super simple. It expresses the art wonderfully. It's not super out of the box. It's not a miss. It's right on target, and I like that. Next is Shannel doing the Hakusai wave. It was fine. Does the wave on her dress look like nut? When Monica Lewinsky called up her friend to tell her what Bill did to her dress, it looked like this, and that's how it was hanging up in her closet. Next is my favorite in this category, which is Roxy doing Salvador Dali. I love the melting clock. It's such an interesting visual element that Roxy's added to this look. I love the mustache. It's such a nice tribute, and I think it's a really beautiful look at Roxy's heritage and celebrating this beauty of this art. And I think Roxy won this category for me. She was top 2 at least. Next is Gottmik doing Scream, and my God, this is so freaking cool. This is what I wanted from Mick. This is the type of silhouette and the type of intricacy that I wanted to see. It is the art piece stamped on their body, and it's mwah, perfect. Nothing was better than this in this category. Next is Nina West doing Tom of Finland, and yikes. Ooh, I hate this. She looks like a prairie woman who's about to be burned at the stake for witchcraft. I know that it was supposed to be like Leather Daddy inspired, but I'm not getting that at all. It looks like Salem, and we're about to burn a gay leather witch or something. There's so many bad things going on, starting at where the dress ends. This length is weird. The socks underneath are weird. The boot length is weird. This sort of Count Olaf hair that is coming up with the hat balanced on only one side of it is so strange. I don't like the bib. The fisting gloves are not interesting enough to me. They should have been a different color. There's so much going on here that is not right in my brain, and I don't like it. She did so good in Monochromatica, and then here's the decline. Next is Vanjie doing Starry Night, and I wrote in my notes, I don't get Starry Night looking at this. Like, the colors are correct. The silhouette is not presentable for Starry Night. What was done here does not evoke Starry Night. And a little cheapy headpiece with a cardboard crescent moon and a little bit of craft glitter does not a Starry Night make. I'm sorry. This was a miss. Next is Plastique doing Yayoi Kusama. I wrote on my notes, whoa, I really love the polka dots. I love the swirl pattern going all the way up into the hair. It literally looks like when you twirl pasta on a fork and it just swirls all the way up to the top of your fork. It's so intricate and beautiful and well constructed. This is a great look. Very close with Roxy. It was hard for me to choose which one of the two I liked more. And then finally was George's doing Picasso, and you know, it's fine. The middle looks a little bit like a Pokeball, and I don't know what I'm getting from that. I don't love the t-shirts. The hat is a little flimsy and doesn't look like it was super well constructed. I do like the hair quite a bit, and I like the way that it sort of blends into everything. I like all the color blocks that are happening. But then there's just like some weird construction elements that look like it wasn't super paid attention to. And I don't know what that was, like if the designer had smoked a little bit too much, if they hadn't eaten breakfast that day, or if the sewing machine broke and they had to hand stitch it. Something kind of went amiss with the construction, in my opinion, for this. I'm also not really a live, laugh, loving for the leggings again. So this was kind of a miss, in my opinion. And then in our final category, Paintball Eleganza, we start out with Angeria, who gave us a highlighter dress. And it kind of looks exactly like her Chromatica look. She said that it was ombre, but to me, it kind of just looked like the same color, the same notes across the same canvas. And even though I said that Angeria could do no wrong, and in my brain, she can't, this was not a mistake, this was an oversight. It was a pretty egregious oversight. If you were going to do a color theme, some type of storyline, have that be consistent with each one of your looks, like we saw Tia Coffee when she did her Cherry Valentine tribute, and it was red, red, red. When you have one that you're creating and crafting, and your middle look doesn't match that, it feels like a mistake or an oversight. Anyway, I'm roasting too hard. Yikes! Next is Shannel, and this was such a train wreck. What was this? What was this? I ask again, one more time, for posterity. What is this? What's the hair? What is this weird foreskin around the neckline? What is this weird corset? What are these strange drapery things that are coming off of it? What are these colors? Are these feathers? Are these teardrops? What is coming off of it? It looks like a mushroom. Like it could have been really cool and couture and sort of out of the box, unique themed. It looks like drag queen's first dress. And if this were an elimination episode, this would have 1000% landed Shannel in the bottom because this is a travesty. Next up is Roxy Andrews, and to be honest, I liked this coat dress so much more than the bodysuit underneath. What I do appreciate are all the red pops of color, because when you do black and white, it's really nice to have something that sort of stands out. I do think the bodysuit is well made. The coat is well made, but the coat, which was so immaculate and well tailored, came off, and then the bodysuit was underneath. It didn't make me think stunning. I do really love the hair and makeup though. Next is got Meek doing a sort of punk rock look. I actually really enjoy the construction of this garment. I really like the way that it's ombreed into the red and there's a lot going on. It sort of looks like graffiti, really punk rock and cool. The hair looks like a black peppermint, and I don't totally hate that, but I also am not like yes either. This was sort of like a very solidly shaky, I think it's a top look. And then I saw what everybody else made and I thought, oh no, that was the best in this category. So like, I don't know if it's even that this necessarily blew me out of the water or if it was just better than what everybody else had made. I'm leaning towards that other thing. Next is Nina West. Do we have to talk about this? I don't know if we have to talk about it. We're not going to. Next is Vanjie looking like a Barbie doll, makeup and hair-wise. Like she looks like a doll. Okay, the dress itself is not bad. It looks a little bit construction-wise like a pageant dress, and I don't dislike that. Like I would see someone maybe in Miss Congeniality wearing this, but my problem is the stars. It's a little Michael's craft store and I don't love that. I don't think I like the painting details on it, and that's really my biggest problem, but I mean, she looks beautiful. Vanjie's face has never looked prettier on this program. Next out is Plastique, and holy fuckaroni, she looks good. How did she have time? How did she have time to create this coat that's trailing in the back with this beautiful cherry blossom? How did she have time to stone this dress? That was the level of intricacy and detail that I wanted to see from this type of ball. Creating a nude illusion and creating nudity on a gown is really interesting and fascinating. We see this type of look in art quite often, and translating that to a gown was really big brain, super well thought out, and the fact that she took the time to then stone it to make sure that it was a little more eye-catching, mwah! Plastique won this category hands down with this look. I don't think any design challenge will ever be better than this. Like, this may be one of the best ones, right next to what Utica did in the bag ball. And then finally is Georges. And you know what? I actually don't hate the silhouette. I like the jacket. I really like the pants. I like the pattern that's on it. I'm not crazy about the bra. Like, I'm so whatever about that bra. I really think the hair is cute, but it would have been so nice if instead of that dinky little Cindy Lou Who bun, if she had maybe instead gone va-va-voom and like done that really tight short hair underneath and then done just huge gigantic drag queen hair in the background, pinned it all into that little dinky bun, and then just had this va-va-voom silhouette. I think Georges could have easily maybe been the second best in this category. The hair takes it down from couture and eleganza because it's just a little small. So for me in this category, it was Plastique and Mick, but that leaves our judging kind of all over the place. Plastique obviously is my top choice for this ball. She was my favorite one, but then I don't know who my second favorite would be and who else I would stick up there in top two. I mean, I guess Mick, because the package was solid. I don't know if the first look was super intricate or super outside of the box. It was just high fashion. I think it makes sense to give it to Mick, because I mean, Mick was really solid in that first category. And even though I really thought that Vanjie ate, she didn't really eat in the other two categories. And then Nina flop-zillaed. I think my clear bottom two, if this were an elimination episode, the bottom two would be Shannel and Nina. And I do think that if this were a elimination season, I think that Angeria would get that scare of like, you could be in the bottom and you were just in the top, but we're not gonna put you in the bottom this week because you weren't the worst, but you could have been. So the top two is Mick and Plastique, and let's talk about the lip sync really quick. We're gonna breeze through it as fast as possible. The song is Jump in Line, and a lot of people are grumbling on the internet about this. This is not a bad song. This song is really fun. It's camp, it's drag. It's the same type of energy as Old MacDonald Had a Farm. If this was a more dynamic group with lip syncing, if this was a group that could really perform, I think that this could have been super interesting because Plastique was giving nothing and Mick was giving like a solid 3 out of 10, perhaps, on a really good non-bloaty, non-salt, non-carb day. Mick was giving nothing. And it was a kind of a bad lip sync, in my opinion. It was not interesting, it wasn't funny. I won't ever remember this ever again. And I wish that they had maybe used this in week 1, because could you imagine Angeria and Georges doing that? It would have been really fun. Could you imagine if they had held on to this song for like Nina and Roxy? That would have been great. It was kind of wasted here. Mick wins, she snips Angeria, and we find out that next week's challenge is going to be the Snatch Game of Love. And I wrote in my notes, this sucks. I hate Snatch Game of Love. I complained so much about Snatch Game Family Feud Edition during UK versus the World. Of Love sucks. Of Love is trash. Of Love should burn, and I'm tired of it. What were your thoughts on this episode? I know that I roasted a lot, and you know, I'm gonna keep giving it a chance. Next week, maybe it'll be better. Maybe. We're gonna hold on to hope. I'm gonna hold out for a hero that next week will be incredible. Even though, checking my notes, Angeria was a part of the worst Snatch Game of all time, quote unquote. Shannel has done bad in that little Gaffin thing and is not really good at impressions. Roxy was really great as Tamar, but then you saw that Alaska performance in All Stars 2. Mick did a really great Paris, but was that a one-hit wonder? Nina did a really great Harvey Fierstein, but that was it. Vanjie, I mean, we saw Vanjie's performance. We don't need to talk about that as the Brigoli girl. Plastique, I don't think did Snatch Game, so who knows how that's gonna go. And Georges was also part of the worst Snatch Game of all time. So my hopes for Snatch Game are not super high. I'm guessing that Roxy's gonna get a redemption story for how bad she did in All Stars compared to her first run in 5 where she did really good. And I'm gonna guess that probably we're gonna get a Nina redemption since she was really close her season and just barely lost it. That's who I'm predicting. I'm predicting Roxy and Nina at the top. And then I think we're gonna get some interesting performances and they're gonna have to get real creative with that edit. So maybe it's good that they're doing Of Love, because maybe these girls will be able to flirt better with someone than they would be able to actually impersonate someone, and maybe we'll get some memeable moments from the flirting. We're gonna cross our fingers, we're gonna hope, and we're gonna pray to the drag gods that this season gets better, because it's just sort of mid right now. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Goodbye. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to click that like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Goodbye.